Hey guys, today I'm going to bring you some really positive news from South Korea. I'm going to have a quick look at Bitcoin and technical analysis. I will also give you my thoughts on Waltonchain and Vechain and why I think they are really hot coins to watch in the very short term near future. Hey guys, it's Jay here from Stake Mentor bringing you today's news. Again, if you're new to this channel, new to my videos, a bit of background about myself. I used to be in the venture capitalist world. I used to run my startup, and I've been involved in the crypto scene for a while now. I've been very passionate about this area, and luckily was able to make a little bit of money getting in a bit earlier than the majority of people. And now I feel a huge passion about sharing what's going on in the crypto news, summarizing all the million different elements happening into one simple video, and I hope you'll like it. So essentially, now looking at the market again, we've seen some further drops happening over the last couple of days. Again, in the last 24 hours, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash all being down 10% or more. This was initially started by a sell-off from bad news from India, where essentially the government decided to block all bank accounts which were using crypto exchanges. So that led to a bit of a panic sell-off, and we can see that sell-off is still continuing around the globe, with the majority of, or pretty much all of the coins being in red. We call it the Red Sea, looking at minus 5 to 10, 15% drops. But it is not all negative. In fact, there was some very positive news. Last week we panicked, or the last few weeks we panicked about what is South Korea going to do in the coming weeks regarding regulation. There were even some rumors around South Korea potentially banning crypto exchanges as a whole, but now they've come around and the news is relatively positive. In fact, I'm quite surprised this hasn't really influenced the market, but the government officials are essentially saying they're ready to work together with exchanges. However, all the banks need to share the data of people who are using or transferring money to exchanges. Essentially, the Korean government wants to be a bit more closer to what's going on, want to have a closer impact on regulation. I personally believe it's a great sign. It's going into the right direction. If South Korea can work closely with the exchanges, with the banks to regulate this and make it more of a sensible approach, then I can only see this as a valid proof that after Japan, now South Korea is going the right direction, and this is going to be very positive for the crypto world as a whole. Now looking a bit at Bitcoin, what's been happening in terms of the technical analysis, the technical points, we can see that the price is testing the $10K mark. So for me, this is a fundamental and crucial point when it comes to the price of Bitcoin. As you can see in the past, this 10K mark has been a very important factor. In December, when we had this huge drop prior to Christmas, we saw price again testing the sort of the 10K, 10,300, 10,400 level, and then even prior to that, we also saw once price broke the 10K level, it shot up to 20K. So now we can see that the price has been testing the 10K level, is tested on the just before the 18th of Jan, actually went below and then recovered, and then yesterday and today is testing these two levels. And if you look at the overall pattern, it's looking downwards. So there is a very high chance that the price may break the 10K level and go further beyond that. If that's the case, then I wouldn't be surprised if you can see some more panic sell-off happening and price approaching the 8 grand level very quickly. But as I said, I've always been very positive, and I always believed the 10K mark represented a solid foundation, and you can see it's been tested a number of times. So I hope price will bounce back and go into the positive direction. That's from Bitcoin. Now I want to introduce you to two more interesting coins which have sparked my interest. One is a Waltonchain, and the other one is Vechain. Both essentially Chinese coins. and Waltonchain particularly has got a big event coming up on the 28th of January with a huge subscription. Apparently a number of big agreements partnerships will be announced. They're already working with some major Chinese institution. I believe Waltonchain is working with the mobile China Mobile Internet of Things. What is Waltonchain? In the summary, they are bringing RFID technology to blockchain. RFID technology, in simple terms, is essentially electromagnetic system to be able to track objects very quickly. That's particularly useful in retail when you have so many different items. That's also useful in medicine with a lot of different products and medicines. Essentially, is a way to track objects very quickly. And if you look at Waltonchain and how it's been performing, it's been relatively consistent. It's been relatively continuing growing up. Despite everything is down in the last 24 hours or last 48 hours. Waltonchain has been up, so 8%. So you can see people are probably getting excited about the event coming up on the 28th, and what they are doing, and their strong foothold in China, the partnerships they have in China, the technology is unique. I think we can see this price going up, and I genuinely believe this could be a top 20 coin contender. So I definitely recommend you guys to have a look at this this coin. You can also see they've got clearly laid out what phases they're looking into, and last but not least, it's a Chinese coin, so that's always a plus. The other thing I want to bring to your attention is Vechain. Vechain, essentially in very simple form explained, will help you or help people to validate items. So what does that mean in real terms? For instance, there's a huge black market, a fake market out there. For instance, if you look at diamonds, it's very difficult to track them, prove them, see where they are. So being able to having a blockchain which will be able to validate the originality of, for instance, diamonds is a huge advantage for diamond industry, but also for a lot of other industries. And you can also see they have a number of interesting partnerships with PwC or other third-way services using Vechain, and it's similar to oops, that's my alarm going off. Similar to Waltonchain. Vechain has seen some significant growth over the last sort of weeks. Obviously, we've seen a 20% drop the last 24 hours, but I wouldn't be too worried about it. If you look at the ride here, it's already a top 20 coin. Some interesting partnerships to be further announced in China. They're working with a large Chinese tobacco group, and if you look at the growth since the December, looks very promising. So one more coin to look at. If I had to choose between one of them, in terms of growth potential, I'd probably go for Walton, frankly, because they're, from a pure market perspective, they're not yet in the top 20. So you can probably get a bit more, and they seem to have well, the event is coming up on the 28th, so that would be very interesting to observe what the impact will be to the price. So that's from me for today. I do these videos because I am really passionate about the crypto world. I think there are so many factors, information out there. I want to summarize into the key elements so that you guys are properly informed on what's going on. If you think this is valuable, if you think this will help you on a daily basis, I would genuinely appreciate if you subscribe. We've spent a lot of time doing this, but it's not about that. It's about you being informed. It's you being understanding what's going on and making wise decisions on your investments, and or generally knowing about the crypto world. So if you think this is valuable, I would really appreciate if you subscribe. As you can see, we're a new channel and any help is supported. So that's from me. I'll hope to see you tomorrow.